The moment the cameras flicked on, a storm was already brewing beneath the surface. America didn't know it yet, but they were about to witness a moment that would echo far beyond the walls of a television studio. It began with a smirk. The liberal TV host, a seasoned commentator known for her sharp tongue and viral takedowns, leaned forward in her chair. Across from her sat Usha Vance, elegant, composed, and, to many watching, an unlikely guest. Most had only heard of her through her husband, J.D. Vance, the US Senator. But today, Usha wasn't here to speak as a wife or a silent political accessory. Today, she came with a voice, and America was about to hear it. The host didn't waste time. "Mrs. Vance," she began, her tone laced with condescension, "you're a woman of color, an accomplished attorney. How do you reconcile supporting a man and a party that many argue are hostile to both your gender and your heritage?" Pause. The audience in the studio leaned in. Viewers at home put down their coffee cups. The question was a trap, the kind designed to rattle, to reduce, to shame. But Usha didn't flinch. She looked the host in the eyes, not with anger, but with the quiet power of someone who had waited long enough to be misunderstood. "I reconcile it," Usha began, "by knowing who I am, without needing your permission to be complex." Her voice was calm, not raised, but it carried the weight of something deeper, something raw, real, and unshakable. The host blinked. The room stilled. "You see," Usha continued, "for years, I've watched people like you paint women like me into corners. If we don't think like you, vote like you, march like you, we're labeled, confused, brainwashed, or worse, traitors to our own identities. But I refuse to be reduced to your version of representation." It wasn't just her words, it was the emotion underneath, the ache of being misunderstood, the fury of being spoken over, the loneliness of watching your story rewritten by others for their narrative. Usha wasn't just responding, she was reclaiming. "I grew up in a home where resilience was not optional," she said. "My parents came to this country with nothing but a dream. They taught me discipline, sacrifice, and the importance of thinking for myself. And yes, I married a man you may not agree with. But what you don't see is the partnership we've built. A marriage grounded in faith, fierce debate, and deep love. He respects me, not in spite of my strength, but because of it." The studio was silent. Even the host was momentarily speechless. Then Usha did something unexpected. She smiled. Not a smug smile, not one of victory, but a smile of grace. And then she leaned forward slightly and said, "If you want to know why so many Americans are tired of the media, it's this. You tell us we're free, but only if we think the way you want us to. You say you want diversity, but only the kind that fits your script." That was the moment it happened. The host stuttered, searching for a comeback, but there wasn't one. Usha had spoken not from a place of political strategy, but from personal truth. And that truth had cut through every label, every assumption, every box she'd been shoved into. The clip went viral within hours. Social media exploded. People who had never even heard of Usha Vance were sharing her words, not because they agreed with everything she said, but because they felt it. They recognized the pain of being stereotyped. They resonated with the power of standing alone in your truth, and they were moved by the sight of a woman who, for once, didn't shout to be heard. She simply stood firm, and the world had to listen. Days later, a mother in Atlanta posted a video tearfully thanking Usha for giving her daughter someone to look up to. "She's Indian, like you," the woman said, and she finally saw someone on TV who reminded her that being strong and being soft can live in the same heart. In California, a college student wrote a blog titled, "I didn't know I could think like this." She confessed she'd spent years hiding her conservative views on campus, fearing rejection. But if Usha Vance can speak her truth on national television, she wrote, maybe I can speak mine in class. And in Ohio, where Usha and J.D. lived, letters poured in. some praising her, some attacking her. But Usha didn't focus on the noise. She focused on the young women who said her story gave them courage. She responded to the letters that spoke of awakening, of confidence, of change. The truth is, Usha didn't silence the TV host to win an argument. She didn't come to fight. She came to free herself. And anyone else tired of being told they had to choose between their identity and their individuality. Her silence wasn't the absence of sound, it was the presence of certainty. And in a world filled with shouting, one woman's calm truth stunned a nation. By the end of that week, networks were still dissecting the moment, trying to analyze its impact. But the impact wasn't just political, it was personal. And that's the power of truth. Spoken from the soul, it doesn't need to be loud to be heard, it just needs to be real.